Greetings. My name is Evangelist Sandra E. Jackson, and the E stands for ecstatic because I am ecstatic to be alive. And I pray to God you are as well. Oh my goodness, we're in for a treat tonight. I hope you have shared this video. I hope you have liked, commented, and told somebody that Sandra's Authors Forum is on and we are going to have a blast. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at this. We're going to meet Tenishia Bloodsaw, who is the author of God is Bigger Than Enough. And I know in your life you have reason to concur with us that God is bigger than that. At this time, we're going to invite Victoria Jackson on so she can lead us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, I come to you right now, thanking you for bringing us all together. Today, we're going to discuss how you're bigger than that. And I ask that you would touch the minds of people, let them know that you're bigger than their situations, whatever they're going through, and that you can see them through. We thank you for it. We ask you to bless this show, allow someone to be touched and have peace. And I thank you for it right now. In the name of Jesus, Lord, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Beverly will come on and join us with her scripture for tonight.
I will be reading in your hearing Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 through 7, King James Version. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west, that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. May the Lord continue to bless the word that we read and believe.
Thank you. God is bigger than that. Oh my goodness, what a word. At this time, it affords me a pleasure to introduce to you our author for tonight, Miss Tenishia Bloodsaw. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much for coming on. It is an absolute pleasure to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
We're going to go in. I want you, what is your why?
So, God, of course, is my first why, but then I am also a mother of two children. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. And, God has afforded me to be their mother. So I want to be a blessing to them by just doing the best that I can. So when it comes to my books, all of them are inspired by them. And they are definitely my why and why I push as hard as I do here.
Wow. Children are a blessing from God. And how many do you have?
I have two. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son.
Now that son, can you tell me a little bit about that 6-year-old?
Yes, he's definitely the entertainer of our family. Just a big heart and really sensitive. One of the book God is Bigger Than That is actually based on him and my mother. And he was just afraid of the rain and wanted to talk about how big God was. And my mom, she explained it to him, and she told me the next morning. And he, God is Bigger Than That was created.
Wow, what a blessing. Sometimes people have abortions and such like. And I was thinking about what would have happened had you aborted him.
Mhm.
Have you ever thought about that?
No, I haven't.
Whoa.
No, I have not.
Yeah, that
Like I said, I've always wanted to be a mother and a mother of two, actually. And I couldn't imagine my life without them. I tell them all the time how much of a blessing they are to me, and just helping me be more compassionate. Prior to having them, I was dealing with a lot of different, like, anger for different reasons, and just they really opened up my heart. So I really could not imagine life without them.
wow, that is amazing. I thank you for that. Now, where were you born?
I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, we have relatives that live in Minneapolis. Yeah. It gets very cold there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It could snow. I think it snowed this month there.
Wow. All right. And this project that you had, um, how long did it take you to write it?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me 10 minutes.
I wanted to ask you that because
Yeah.
many people are stuck and
Hmm.
they think that it's difficult to write, it's
Yeah.
hard, all of that stuff. But what
Hmm.
I want to let the audience know is that when God gives you an assignment, all you have to do is do what?
Do it. Take the step. Take the step. Most definitely.
So my mom was a fan of just get it done.
Yeah.
So that was my slogan that I heard her repeatedly say to us,
Hmm.
just get it done. And
Yep.
I have carried that into my life. So what I hear you saying is you just got it done.
Yes, absolutely. One of the motivations for getting it done right away is I had missed out on a huge opportunity from an idea that God gave me, and I sat on it out of fear and letting other people come in and steal that from me.
Mm.
And it was something that when I went and saw it and like realized that He gave it to someone else, that was $1 billion idea, and I had sat on it and lost it. And it's like ever since then, I said, no, I won't do that again. If God gives it to me, it's for me. Go ahead and do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
What age were you when you realized you were a writer?
Probably ninth grade. I had well, no, I'm sorry, 10th grade. I had an English teacher that really, she breathed life into my dreams when it came to writing. And she really helped me understand how I can take the thoughts that are in my head and write them down and bring them to life. And ever since then, like English was my favorite subject from that point on. And I really enjoyed writing out my thoughts and journaling and that type of thing from there.
Wow, look at this comment. Someone said they remember my sister, the late evangelist Jackie Rumpf, um, RUMPH. She preached at Clinton Street, Greater Bethlehem Temple back in the day. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your presence, and I pray to God that you enjoy the show. Keep up, commenting, liking, and sharing because we're in for a lifetime experience tonight. All right. All right. So, um, who was your inspiration?
For this particular book,
Uh,
um,
who
yeah,
is
for
your
God is bigger than.
inspiration in life?
Oh, my mother. My mother, she's definitely my inspiration. She didn't come from an environment where she was raised in love all the time, and she made a choice for herself to raise me and my sister in love, and that really like built the foundation for me. And the sacrifices that she made and just making it clear that there was no ceiling when it came to my dreams and what I could do. She definitely helped me with being able to get a lot of things done in life and be able to communicate effectively. She helped me be able to talk, really, to be a speaker. She really pushed me hard to give out my thoughts. She would ask me, what is on your mind? And it wasn't just, oh, nothing. She really pushed me to, talk about my dreams and talk about what I wanted in life and the things that I wanted to do. And then she said, you know what, and you can do it. And I did.
Wow. So mothers are very instrumental in children's lives, and she took the time out to raise you.
Yes.
And we appreciate that, especially as a woman, because women speak volume to society.
Yes.
Just in case the audience don't know, you are very important to society. All
Yep.
right. Many people may feel like they don't have worth or value, but I came to encourage you tonight that you're doing some great things and keep up the good work.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Yes. To everyone who purchased, so Victoria has placed a link in the comment section. And this book, the title just struck me like God is bigger than that. I didn't know you, but I saw that title, and God is big to me in my life. I'm like, I got to get her. I got to get her on the show. So I scouted you out and found you. And God told me, He said, everybody that I want on this show will be on this show. And so you said I would be honored to come on, and I'm happy to have you on this show. All right.
Definitely glad to be here. Thank you.
You are welcome. What new projects do you have?
So I am a app owner. I own an app called Friend Me. And that idea again came from God. Last year, I was sitting at my desk, and I kept hearing people say like it's hard to make friends, and why is it so hard to make friends? And so I just started writing down the ideas as God was giving them to me. And I created this app so that you can upload your own profile and pick what type of friends you want. Like, so if you wanted networking friends, you wanted business friends, you wanted travel friends, that's something that you can put into the app, and it'll match you with people that want similar type of friends.
Wow, that is amazing. And how did you know what to do? Like which steps to take?
See, my sister said I should be in the FBI. I do a lot of research for fun. so, so basically, I started writing down a list of things that I wanted in the app, right? And then I started looking at similar apps that, kind of, it's structured kind of like a dating app where you swipe left, swipe right, but it's for friends. So, if you wanted to have a girls' trip, you can pick girlfriend, or if you wanted to have like a couples trip, a single parents trip, that type of thing, you can put that all in the app. And what I did was I put all my ideas together, and then I researched a developer that can create my idea, and that's what I did.
Wow, congratulations. That is
Thank you.
huge. I
Thank you.
am so ecstatic about that. So audience, you can go now. I put the link there for her website app, for her app. It's friendmemobileapp.com.
Yes, and that's both on iOS and on the Google Play Store. So if you
Awesome.
have an iPhone or if you have a Samsung, you can still get it.
Wow. Tenishia, you're not wasting time. You're not
No.
wasting time. And so God just gave me a journal, and it's called the Time Journal.
Mm-hmm.
In the journal, which is on Amazon, it tells you different ways that you can be spending your time.
Right.
And then you can add whatever else you want. If something on the title of the page strikes your fancy, as they say, then
Mm-hmm.
you can jot down and make what do you call it, a bucket list of the things that um, you want to do with your time, because time is precious and we
Absolutely.
do not want to waste time. I'm so happy to see that you are doing exactly what God has called you to do. That
Yeah.
is huge. But you know what? That goes without saying. It goes without saying that when you obey God, trouble will come, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the understatement.
Oh my goodness. Is it ever an understatement? When you
Oh
obey
wow.
God, you just better know that there is going to be opposition, right?
Yes.
But the
Yes.
trouble did not come to destroy you. It did not come to hinder you. It came to what? Crush you
Yep.
and to make you refine you and to
Absolutely.
make you white, pure as, white as, I like to say, he cleans us with his hyssop and washes pure as white as snow.
Mm-hmm.
And then he refines us in a way in which we don't want him to, but we come out pure as gold, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, what made you choose the title of this book?
So, like I was mentioning, with my mom telling me the story, and my son kind of going through those things as far as, well, is God bigger than this? Is God bigger than that? That was what was the overarching theme. But when I started writing it, putting it all together, that was a clear title for me, because it not only spoke to my child's fear at the moment, and just being inquisitive about how big God was, but it related to what was going on in my life at the time.
Mhm.
I was going through a lot of storms at the time. And, I'm like, I trust you, God. I know that you're bigger than this, And so God just kept pushing me through. And that is where I came up with the title is, God is bigger than that. Because like I said, it's not just for children, as far as a story, it's for the adult that's reading it, for the grandparent, the parent, the sister, the brother, that in every situation, God is bigger than that.
Exactly. And we were talking the other day, and I asked you to dissect each word in that title, I began to think of um, a renowned pastor, uh, Dr. E.V. Hill. He
Yeah.
preached a message. He said, God at his best. And I was turning the pages of the book, God is bigger than that. And every page you turn, you're just telling us, oh, he's even bigger than that. Oh, he's even bigger than that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Dr. Hill preached this message many years ago about how God is doing creation. He created the first day all the way through the seventh day. And thank God he gave us a day of rest. But, but God at his best. That's what I see in your book. Would you
Yeah.
can you relate to that?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Because it is sobering to know that you think that your problems are so big, and knowing that there is a God out there that is bigger than all of it. And that is, that is just exactly what we go through each day. Like, is it bigger than my job? Is it bigger than the obstacles, my relationship troubles, the troubles with my kids? No, it's bigger. God is bigger than all of it. So yeah, definitely God at his best, and God has continuously been at his best when it comes to me. And I thank him for the favor.
Amen. Amen. There's a quote. It says, sometimes you must hurt in order to know, fall in order to grow, lost in order to gain, because life's greatest lessons are learned through pain.
Yeah.
Mm. You can't go through life allowing pain to dictate how you behave. It's easy to sit here in your bedroom and waddle in your hurt feelings. These quotes are profound. And when you talk about pain, you've had some pain in your life, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm actually in the process of finalizing my divorce. That actually happened at the same time as I wrote the book. My marriage started to fall apart. And like, the final, it's time to go type of situation. And last year I published 6 books in the midst of going through a divorce. And, I moved from Minnesota to Georgia without knowing where I was going to go,
Mm.
because God told me this is where I was supposed to be. And it's just a lot of transition, bringing my kids from a state that they've only known to a state that they've never known. And a whole new environment. And I'm thankful that my mom came here with me as a support. But just a lot of different transition. But what God kept showing me is that if you just trust me, I will sustain you. And that's what God has been doing, because, I didn't think this time last year that I'd be getting a divorce, but God knew,
God,
and, God knew that I was not going to be in the same state. He set me up in a way that I didn't know why I was publishing the first book, the second book, the third book, the fourth book, the fifth, and the sixth, but God knew, so he set it up so that this year I start to reap the harvest of what the seeds he told me to plant last year out
mm,
of obedience,
mm.
So yeah, it definitely doesn't come without loss, but I believe that God has all the gain, and in his will is where I will prosper. And that's where I'm at right now.
Wow, what a journey. What a journey. Oh, wow. What is it that you do while in your journey before writing that helps tremendously? So basically, she's saying, what process do you take while you're in that journey? Sometimes people are stuck. Sometimes people are having financial issues, or, a lot of children issues, or whatever the case may be. Well,
Mhm.
she's asking, what do you do in the meantime?
Yeah, I just keep going and I stay prayed up. One thing that I do every single day is I take a moment and I drive every single morning on my way to get coffee. That's my time with God. So it's just me and him in the car. And I don't know if you know the song by Yolanda Adams, "Open My Heart," where she starts off alone in the room. Well, I'm alone in the car.
Mm,
And what I do in that moment, and I did a lot of those trips while I was in the process of writing in Minnesota. But I sit there and I listen. And God, he continuously speaks to me, when I'm in those moments. And so even though it's a rough time, I'm crying, I'm listening to music, listening to gospel music, and I'm crying, but he's still speaking to me and ministering to me in those moments. So it's like the way that me and God's relationship is set up, he won't let me sleep until I'm done with it, right?
how
So
old?
it keeps on coming back.
So
If I don't do it, it keeps coming back, and it
it
keeps
keeps
it in the back
coming
of my
back.
head, and I have to get it out. He helps me write, and that's how I get through it, you know. And it's like I don't even realize that it should be a longer process for other people, or it is a longer other process for other people, because I just know what he does for me, you know.
Exactly.
So it's like my writing process may not be like another person's writing process, because Thank You Son I wrote in 30 minutes. I wrote my very first book in 6 weeks because that was research. God is Bigger Than in 10 minutes. Sci-Fi Girl in a day, you know, because that's what God gives to me, you know. So it's like I mean, the journals that I published, I did while I was going from Minnesota to Orlando on a vacation. I just kept the idea, the visuals kept coming in my head. That's how God does it. I can't explain it, but you know, that's what God does.
Victoria Jackson said, "Ain't that just like him?"
Absolutely.
And then there's
Absolutely.
a question: was there ever a time where you thought, "All right, God, you chose the wrong one. This is too
No.
much for me"?
No, but I will say I never thought that I was the wrong one for the job, but I did feel like this is a lot, right? This is a lot for anyone. And the time that I felt that is when I came out of the storm, and I felt that exhaustion where I'm like, that was a lot to go through, right? And I had to rest. My mind had to rest. My spirit had to rest. And I'm like, that was a lot. But I never thought that this wasn't supposed to be for me. From the day that I was born, I knew God showed me that I was born to stand out. And so I never fit in. So it's like it didn't really make sense if I did fit in. Like people would tell me, like, you're not supposed to be here. You know, I had protection every step of the way, no matter what the storm was. So I knew that this must have been a part of my journey. You know, this must have been a part of my lesson. So it's like I just kind of roll with it and let God show me, you know, as it opens up. But you know, no, I never thought that I was the wrong one for the journey.
That's amazing. So you were talking about listening to the voice of God and obeying Him, because if He doesn't, if you don't obey Him, uh, you know, there are repercussions. What are some of the repercussions for people that ignore the voice of God or become numb to the voice of God?
You start to So okay, for I will give you an example of a time where I was in a relationship and I knew that God was telling me to put a period there and I put a comma, right? When I put that comma there, it became so unbearable
Mm.
that I was literally in tears every day from what I was continuing to do. And so the price of that disobedience was long lasting emotional impact, spiritual impact, mental, like starting from the ground up, losing it all because I wanted to stay in a situation that was not for me. So yes, the disobedience is costly. The obedience is costly. It depends on what you want when it comes to listening and trusting God. And I choose the older I get, because I will be 40 this year. The older I get, I learn to let go earlier than later.
Amen. That was great. What does rest look like for you the healthy way?
So I am a big music fan, right? And music, God speaks to me through music as well as, you know, other forms, but I love nature. I love getting out and walking. Being able to be in touch with, you know, looking at the birds, seeing the butterflies, you know, really being able to be in touch with the nature. And I also like to listen to music, and he speaks to me through that too,
Yes.
you know. And so it's like just being able to calm my mind down. And it's like now, you know, that I moved to Georgia, I've been able to rest in a way where I'm able to sleep while I'm sleeping, because a lot of times your mind is just constantly going, you
No,
know. So I'm
you
able to
ran
do some
past that too quick. You
things.
said I'm able to sleep while I'm sleeping. Girl,
Yeah,
that's the word.
yeah,
I'm able to sleep while I'm sleeping.
yes,
So I
yeah,
have a couple friends they're a little older, and honey, they can't sleep at night. But
yeah,
that's the word right there. Somebody need to pray and say, Lord, help me to sleep while I'm sleeping.
yes,
Come on, put it
absolutely,
in the comment section. Lord, help me to sleep while I am sleeping.
yes.
So the voice of the Lord comes to warn us, comes
Hmm.
to instruct us, to lead us, and to guide us.
Yes,
So I want to speak to the audience and tell you, please do not ignore his voice.
yep.
His voice is not a voice that you should ignore.
Hmm.
Sometimes people ignore their parents' voice calling them. Shouldn't do that either.
Right.
Sometimes parents ignore their children's voices. If you ignore anybody's voice, which is not good to ignore anyone's voice, please don't ignore God's voice.
Yeah. And
When
you'll have peace with that.
yeah,
The a lot of people are like, well, how do I know it's God?
mm,
And you'll have peace. Once you hear that voice, you'll have peace afterwards. When you're still chaotic and you're still, feeling full of anxiety, that's your voice. That's the flesh talking to you. But when it's God, it comes with a sense of calm and a sense of peace along with it. And I'm just gonna trust you. I'm gonna let go. Just like when you're on a roller coaster, you gotta put your hands up, and I'm gonna let go and
mhm.
let it flow with you. So yeah, I definitely listen to God.
Yes, please listen to God. That is a warning to somebody out there. If you're not listening to God, you can start tonight, right?
Yeah.
um, when God told you to move, did He provide all of the steps? You were in Minneapolis
Hmm.
and you moved all the way to Georgia, man.
Hmm.
Did He provide everything for you
No,
at that time?
no, it did not. And the order of things was so just. I said I knew it had to be God, but I did not know. A year ago, I got a text from the person that I was renting from that they're going to sell their home, so I had to leave. That was not the plan, but
Mm,
I said this must be God. So I said, okay, well, we're moving. And then the next step is we're moving to Georgia. And then the next step was we have to find a place because we moved to Georgia and we didn't even have a place. But I said it was the next step. Like, so God just kept placing the next step once I took the step, because you can't just stand still in fear.
mm,
And so it's like, no, I didn't have all the steps to begin with, but I know that even still I kept stepping forward.
mm.
And every time I was able to be sustained every step of the way.
My God.
And last year, I want to say it was January, he gave me a vision of where I was on a stage and all I could feel was the lights on me. I didn't know where I was at. All I knew was I was on a stage and I could feel the lights on me.
Mm,
He gave me a vision of a house that I was living in. I didn't know where it was at. But then from there, my life started to change completely. Every single month, there was a change that pushed me out of where I was at. So it's like it just, yeah, God just kept on showing me the steps. So no, I didn't have all the steps at once, and I just had to trust that this is where God wanted to take me because I prayed for it. One of the things that I will tell people is that when you tell or ask God to remove anything from my life
mm.
that does not need to be in my life,
My God.
get ready, hold on, because it's going to be a fast and bumpy ride.
I can concur with that. Oh my gosh. I can totally concur.
Yeah.
He's already written the blueprint. Yesterday for today, the first text message you cannot delete. He's already written the script for our lives.
Yeah.
God has already, I like to say, He has designed my specific canvas.
Yes.
My God. And
Yes.
when you look at the artists, when they paint and they have a canvas there, they use multiple colors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So God makes our lives colorful.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Not a boring moment, right?
Not at
Sometimes we wish it was boring, but no, He gives us activity and He comes in and He weaves everything for our good.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
may not seem like it at the time, but He's weaving it mm,
Yep.
for our good.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. And so, you know, what tools? No, I want to talk about your sister.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned your sister. Tell me what your relationship looks like.
So we are 16 years apart. And so growing up, everybody thought she was my child. So, as we got older, I became like that other parent, so the third parent in the mix, where I tried to help guide her and kind of avoid the pitfalls that I had to deal with when I was her age, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, anytime you're dealing with a individual that wants to chart their own path, there's going to come with some resistance, right? So when I wrote my book, Sci-Fi Girl, which was based on my daughter, I wrote that back in 2015.
Mm.
And so I had started her, like I said, I want you to illustrate this for me. And she was just like, I don't know if I can do it. Like it kind of fell to the wayside. And so when God gave me the idea for Thank You Son last year, I just went ahead and did it without her. Right. I went ahead and did the illustrations. I published the book to show her that it can be done. Right. What that did was give her that push to say, okay, well, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and finish that book. And then once she finished that book, I gave her God is Bigger Than That to do as well. And after that, she got the confidence. Okay, well, if I did this first one, I can do this second one, and it's no problem. And so it helped build her confidence and helped me be able to show her that you can do anything, just like I was taught that I can do anything, that you can as well. And she's extremely talented. Like you saw in the book, she did every single picture in that book from the cover
I want to
to
show
the
them.
interior.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
show them, if you will,
Yeah.
just a little bit of this.
Hi,
Listen.
my name is Tenishia Bloodsaw, and I currently reside right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm an author, speaker, entrepreneur, and coach. I started writing when I was in high school, almost 25 years ago, based on things that I was going through, and it really helped to journal and started writing short stories. Just last year, I published 6 books, 3 of them being children's books, based on experiences that my kids were going through. The first book I wrote is called Thank You Son. And Thank You Son is about when I was taking my son to school every morning, he would thank the sun for various things. And I thought it was so cute, and I decided to write a book about it. The second book that I wrote is about my daughter, and it's called Sci-Fi Girl, Volume 1. And at the time that I had the inspiration for this book, she was really into science and she was into superheroes. So I decided to write a book about her as being a kid scientist, Dr. Ramaya, and helping her friends resolve conflicts through traveling through time as being a superhero. And in the book, she travels time to visit Martin Luther King to help her resolve a conflict. In this story, she is a phenomenal superhero and really does help her friends resolve those conflicts. The last book I wrote was is called God is Bigger Than That. And this book was based on a late night conversation that my son had with my mom when he was afraid of the rain and he wanted to kind of help himself calm down. So he started asking my mom questions about how big God is. Now, it started off as just asking her things about how big it was, he bigger than a mountain, was he bigger than a plane, but really it really drove home the fact that God is bigger than everything that we're going through. So not only is it good for kids as far as late night conversation and the lullaby type of a story, but it's also good for adults as well to know that God is bigger than anything that we're going through. It's really important to me as an author to have the representation for Black people, but also to have a positive message and show us in a positive light. I hope that you enjoy the books. They're all available on Amazon.com, and you can find them on TanishaWrites.com. And if you do enjoy the book, please leave a review. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, that was wonderful, Tanisha. That was wonderful. We wanted to know, how did you do that?
How did I do the video?
Yeah.
So I recorded the video on my phone, and then I have iMovie on my phone. Like I have an iPhone, so I just put it together. Like, okay, my sister is a really good written artist, but I'm good at graphics and computers. Like that's my thing. So as you know, as you can see, I put together an app. But all I did was put it together. So what I did was do the outline on Canva and on my iMovie on my phone, and then I just uploaded the video and trimmed it and all that stuff. So yeah, that's how I was able to put it together.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
God has made sure that we are creative people, and
Yes.
it's a blessing to utilize those talents. Right now, what we're going to do, I'm going to put you on a little break, and we're going to invite Jason and Amanda in. All right.
All right.
I'll see you in a minute. All right. Let's see. I would like to have Jason to come on. How are you, Jason?
Great. How about yourself?
I am well. You have a poem that you would like to share with us?
Yes, it's called Bigger, and I've been loving the show. It's a great theme, and it's always good to take the limits off of God. So here is the poem. It says, even though you may not feel the best, others may be getting away with things they do, or maybe even prospering with the negative things they say. Our Father in heaven loves us just like we are his only child in an unconditional, loving way.
Mm.
If every door closes and it seems that nothing is going right, we can trust in him to work all things together for our good every day and every night. We may not be the best looking, the most popular, or may not be anyone's first choice, but his peace that exceeds all understanding can give us joy in life's storms. And when we acknowledge him in every matter, obeying his word, we will be able to hear his voice. He is our example. He supplies all of our needs. In him we live, move, and have our beings. We are all sheep in his pasture. He wishes that all will come to repentance, turn from their wicked ways, and obtain eternal salvation. To him, every soul matters. Our Father in heaven has no limits. The next breath that we take is a blessing from him. Our broken hearts he can mend. So come on, confess your confess your slips and falls. Believe that he sent his son Jesus Christ as a ransom for our sins, then raised him up in victory so we can reap the benefits of forgiveness and accomplish our expected end.
Perfect. Thank you for that poem. Did you write that?
I did.
Wow. Now, how long did it take you to write that?
About those 10 minutes she was talking about.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Jason. I appreciate
Amen.
you. I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. Tenishia, did you listen to that poem?
Yes.
Anything strike out to you?
Just again, how big God is for us, like he always wants to prosper us. It's like it's Jeremiah 29:11. He knows the plans that he has for us. And
Yes.
his plans for us is to prosper us and to give us an expected end. So definitely it was a great poem.
Thank you so much. Wow. All right. So, your author's bio, it says that you've been writing most of your life. You were inspired by some events from your children, uh, and that you're a certified business coach. What school did you attend?
So I was certified through the John Maxwell team to be a coach, speaker, and a trainer.
That is phenomenal. I've been trying to do that as well.
Thank
My gosh, hat off to you, all right?
you.
Yes. Um, who is your target audience for this book?
So it is for children that are in kindergarten to about fifth grade. I have I've been an aunt since I was 9 years old. So I have nieces and nephews that range from 1 years old all the way to 30 now. So what I did for the book was I kind of tested it out on them, the different ones, and see what they kind of gravitated towards. So yeah, for my target audience is like kindergarten to fifth. And like I said, with reading the message, like if you're reading it to your kindergarten, your first grader, if the message is for the parents too, it's for, it's for everyone when it comes to the moral of, God is bigger than that. But as far as reading wise, it's for kindergarten to fifth.
What I would like the audience to do, I have a question for you, and I want to see the first person who can answer this question because I have some books that I want to give away. And I don't know if you want to participate and give anything away, Tenishia. If so, just let us know, Tenishia. But tonight we're going to gift these books away, and I have 5 of each. All right. So my first question is, how big is God to you? Go ahead, tell us. How big is God to you? I don't see anyone. You don't know how big God is to you? Oh my gosh, God is bigger than that. That's what you had to say. God is bigger than that. All right, how big is God to you? I love it, Christine. I didn't know you were on here, baby. I love you. He's everything, she said. So you're going to um, receive this book entitled Freedom. It is a journal. It is from our last author that I interviewed. His name is Tony Moore. He sent me 5 of these to give to someone. All right. So, Christine, you will be the first one. Congratulations. You all tell her congratulations. All right. Victoria said, bigger than my emotions and thoughts combined. Whoa, girl. That is a deep one. You will win one as well, Victoria Jackson, Brainiac. All right. Bigger than life. All right, Yvette. You all need to inbox me your addresses because we're going to send this. And I get excited when I gift things because the Bible tells us it is more blessed to give than who can say it in the comment section. Who can tell me? It's more blessed to give than to receive. That's right, Christine. You better say it, she said. You're welcome, Christine. Diamond, congratulations, she said. Congratulations. Nobody else can equate how big God is. You can't put it into words. Come on. You're welcome, precious. You're welcome. Come on. How big is God to you? Than to receive. That's right. How big is God to you? He's bigger than the highest mountain. Yeah, he's taller than the highest mountain. He's bigger than anything you could ever go through. You know, I will tell you how big he is. Uh, the earth can't contain him, nor can the heavens contain him.
Absolutely.
Now I'm in the book. I'm in the book. The earth cannot contain him. All right. Neither can the heavens. All right. My goodness. Are you having fun out there? Um, if there's anyone in the audience, all right. So we have 2 winners. Who all? 3 winners. So 3. We have 2 more books to get. We have 7 more books to give away before the end of the show, and I will come up with another question. Congratulations to all 3 of you, all right? God is bigger than the deepest of pits, the worst of issues. Girl, that's deep. That's from Amanda. Woo! Oh my goodness, you all are wearing me out. All right. You had a father in your life, correct?
Yes.
And what did that mean to you?
So in my early years, my relationship with my father was strained, just because he has a lot of kids, and I didn't live with him. I lived with my mother, so she was a single mother raising me. So a lot of the things that happened in my life when it came to him, I didn't understand until I was an adult. So now we have a great relationship, just because I'm a parent, so I understand that we do have obstacles when it comes to not really knowing what each child needs individually, right? But growing up, it kind of affected me in the way where I wanted to be seen and didn't feel seen. Right. So I would achieve to try to be seen and, try, like, I wasn't the type to act up. So what I did was I tried to get straight A's and, I would do all these different things to, achieve to be seen. And then it wasn't until I had like a heart to heart conversation with him as an adult and really kind of deep dived into his story. Because what I like to tell people is that, before our parents were parents, they were people and they still are people. Right. So, in being able to understand his story helped me understand that it wasn't personal in a sense where I felt slighted. It was what he was going through. And so, it helped me gain a better understanding of him. And like I said, today we speak every week. We do have a really good relationship, and I've healed from that past hurt, which helped me go forward with the relationship with him, because without that I wouldn't have it, and my kids wouldn't have a grandfather in their life who they absolutely love. So they have both of their grandparents, for my mom and my dad. So yeah, no, I definitely did have a dad.
Exactly. That is wonderful. You started out by being honest and forthright, and you said, "Hey, I grew up and he wasn't in my life, but God helped the situation, and now he's in my life." Many people out there, there are many single mothers, and we want to pray for single mothers. single parents, as a whole, we need to pray for them because it's not an easy job.
Mm-hmm.
Children are beautiful. Babies are just the most beautiful thing you can ever want, right?
Yeah.
Those babies grow up.
Yep.
Parents have a backstory. Oh my
Yes,
God, that's
absolutely.
true. Pastor Beverly Renford. She said, parents have a backstory. God
Yep.
is bigger than our past hurts. That's
Mhm.
deep. So they're saying how good and how big God is, and that is remarkable. God
Yep.
is bigger than the weight and the responsibility. God is bigger than the earth and the heavens combined together. Oh
Yep.
my goodness. Yes, God is bigger than that. What a book. What a book. And it's stirring and it's piquing people's interest because that topic alone is a catchy topic and it's true.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
single parents go through a lot. That is a truth. That's an understatement right there. We did not know when we were 12 years old that we would have to suffer the things that we have had to suffer,
Yeah.
right? We didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nobody prepared us for the rocky roads. Nobody prepared us for, the ups and downs of being a single mother. But
Right.
somehow God, He steps in and He sustains us. Now,
Yeah.
you all gonna pull something out of me. It was about 7 years, maybe 8 years ago, and I was living in Illinois, and all the children were away at school, and I was having a moment. If you can relate to having a moment, I want you to put it in the comment section. I was having a moment and I came downstairs and I turned the TV on. I just pushed one button. I'm talking about the timing, the impeccable timing of God. When I pushed that button, it was on the channel where um, Pastor Hagee was speaking, and he was talking about single mothers. And guess what he said? He said, single mother, God said He's going to sustain you for life. Oh my God. I started dancing and shouting right on the spot because that was a word that resonated with me in the moment. What would have happened if I would have said, let me run in the kitchen and get something to eat, or let me wash some dishes, or let me vacuum the floor, and then I'll turn the TV on? We miss the message that God is trying to give us
Yeah.
because we will not obey Him, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Have there ever been a time where God spoke to you and you didn't give it credence?
Yeah. I mean, I will go back to what I was mentioning earlier about, being in relationships that I had no business being in, even friendships. I had a friend years ago, and there were signs throughout that friendship that I needed to let it go, right? I mean, there was a sign that was so clear that their child left a message on my phone telling me that their mother hated me, did not like me. And then the phone, it was like a voice message that this little girl made, and it came to my phone. And I was like, what? So I called the person, and they were like, oh, they said that they used that word, not saying that they did not hate me, but that was God. God telling me that this person really is not for me, right? And what I did was I stayed in the friendship. But I only had about 3 or 4 months left until God was like, nope, it's done.
God, God will push you out. I'm telling you.
He will.
I was
He
thinking
will.
about a situation when He talked to me and told me to do something, and
Yep.
I didn't want to do it. And I'm like, Lord, you sent me there to help, and I
Right.
don't, and I was whining and telling God.
Yep.
And He showed me clearly, it's time for you to
Yep.
go. It's time for you.
Push you out. Yep.
I stayed longer than I was supposed to.
Yeah.
To, negotiate with God.
Yep.
Somehow this conversation is talking to somebody in this audience. And your next book need to be listen to God, obey God.
Yeah.
Obey God. All right.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's consequences when you don't. And one of the things that my mother did teach me is that a bought lesson stays the longest. And so it's like when you have to go through something in order to learn that lesson, it sticks with you.
Mhm.
And so it's like I don't want to have a bunch of bought lessons. I just want to listen.
I
I just
want,
want to be obedient. Like I'm at that point. I just want to be obedient.
all right. Um, the next question for the audience: how much do you love God? Who's going to be the first person? How much do you love God? Mm, 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 mm. Can you even put it into words?
No.
How much, Tenishia, do you love God?
I I I cannot put it into words. I can only put it into my faith, and I can only put it into my obedience, and I can only put it into my trust. I can't put it into words. That's one of the things where you can only do it by action. And I think that what God has continuously showed me is that when I trust him and I take that step, when I believe him and I take that step,
Mhm,
that shows him that I love him. It's an action word. Love is an action word.
mhm.
So it's not something that I can put into words. I can't. I can just be obedient and do what he tells me to do, and that's showing my love for him. And so it's infinite. He definitely, he can show me and I can show him, and that's our relationship.
My goodness. Come on. I'm waiting on the audience to tell me how much you love God. Oh my gosh. I love God more than my morning, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right. I love God more than all the money in the world. I love God more than all of my children. I love God, and I got 9 of them, but I love God more than all of them. All right. How much do you love God?
I think it's important to realize that you have to love God more than the gifts that he gives you. Because he, like you said, with your children, those are gifts from God, right?
Yes.
And it's like if you don't honor God more than you honor the gifts, then you will lose.
Yes.
Like it's just like that, and it's one of the things that people unfortunately have to learn the hard way sometimes when they try to put things above God and above the gifts that he gives us. The breath in our body is a gift from God. So we can't not praise God and expect for us to keep breathing, right?
That's
So
right.
we have to be able to know that the gifts are nice, right? But God is everything.
He's everything. Come
Yeah.
on, somebody out there. I want to gift a book away. I want to gift another book. How much do you love God? Who can tell me? Who can put that in words? We're gifting books away today. How much do you love God? More than words. More than words. I can't even put them into words because when you begin to think about how good He is to us, every morning we wake up, we don't wake up of our own volition. We wake up because He said, "All right, Sandra, it's time to wake up."
Mm-hmm.
My God, how many people didn't wake up? Just
Right.
think about today
Mm-hmm.
alone. How many people during the pandemic didn't wake up?
Right.
All right. We love God because not even only for the fishes and the loaves, but we love Him because of who He is.
Yes.
He's a sustainer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no words. There are no words that we can even. She said, yes, Yvette. Yvetta? She said, yes, love is an action word. I love God with all of my heart, soul, mind, more than my family. That's deep. Words can't express how much I love God. All right, Diamond College student. I love God more than all the tea in China. Come on. Come on. We want to um, pique your interest tonight to try to see if you really know who you're in relation with. You
Yes.
know, some of us have been born into this thing. So it's my son told me, "Mommy, you're addicted to church." I don't want to be without church. And then we had to experience that during the pandemic. So, am I really addicted to church? Mm-mm. I am in love with God,
Yeah. Yeah.
and God is what in love with me. And
Yeah.
so we have a bond and a relationship that nobody can separate us from. How much do you love God? Yes, I love Him more than anything that life can afford today. question. We have a few more minutes, all right? What is the best advice you can tell somebody that is going through a tough financial uh, situation to push them forward in life?
So I actually wrote a book for financial literacy, right? So one of the things I talk about when it comes to finances is that the fastest way to increase your income is to reduce your expenses, right? So you may love the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but do you need it? Right? Do you need to watch the show, or do you need to save money, right? So do you need the cable? Do you need the, the expense, the luxury items in order for you to push forward, right? You need to have your immediate needs met, but you also need to trust God that he is going to bring you through those financial positions as well. But one of the things when it comes to God is he honors you doing, right? So you can't say, God, please push me through this financial position, and you're still being frivolous, right? You're still doing irresponsible things with your money that he already gave you, because he gifted you with the money, right? He gifted you to make your ends meet, but it's up to you to actually use the wisdom that he gave you as well to actually push forward. So I mean, that's what I would tell people, is to really look at where they're at and why they're there. Because a lot of times it's within their control, and they think that because, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You have to create like what someone said, you have to create a budget. Some people don't even have a budget. Some people don't even know what a budget is, right? And so you have to start there. You have to really look at where your money is going, because God gives it to you. You just have to be a good steward over your funds,
Good
right?
steward. Wow,
Yeah,
you're talking to the masses. You're talking really good.
yeah.
All right. At this time, we're going to leave you on, but we're going to bring Amanda on because Amanda has something to share with us. Um, that's all right. Take your time. While she's getting that together, people are agreeing with you. All right. Um, I'm literally just starting in financial literacy, so I do want your book, she said. All right.
It's on that same website as well. It's on TenishiaWrites.com. It's called The Real Money Tea. And it's for people, it's for the beginners. And it basically walks through all the mistakes I made financially growing up in my first my relationship with money. And it has tips to how to start saving and how to budget, how to create different plans when it comes to your money.
Oh, listen to this. My friend Paula. She says, I really can't find the words to express how much I love God. Very true. How many of you all are in the same situation? She says, I love him so much that I don't want to do anything to offend him. That's deep, Paula. That is the sentiment of my heart as well. So, Victoria, we're jumping back to finances. She says, perfect, because I'm a beginner. So, thank you. You
Yeah.
know why she's a beginner? Because I'm her mother and I don't have a budget.
But that's real though. That's real.
Have
We
a
can
budget
only
to
learn.
understand
Yeah.
the logic of it because being a mother of 9 children, it's like,
Mhm.
you never have enough money to um, budget because you're always having, you know, various things that you just have to go pull this amount of money out at any given time because this one is in sports, this one is traveling out of town, and this one needs shoes, and that one need. So it's a constant, you know, it's a constant means where you have to spend money constantly. So I just say get what you need and if you have the money, spend it. That's bad, right?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hmm. 1 second.
Right. So I love the way you worded this and welcome to the show. Mhm. All right. So we're talking about real topics here tonight. The Real Money Talk book. All right. Um, we want to learn, and when we learn better, we do better. When we learn better, we do better. Young lady, you so deep and knowledgeable. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Who are you referring to, Iveta? Who are you speaking about? All right, we're gonna bring her back in. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry about that.
So financial literacy is what we all need help in that area, and
Mhm.
so I'm glad you mentioned that tonight. Um, what advice will you give for beginners?
So first of all, is getting to know what your relationship with money is, because it's very similar to your relationship with food. I've seen and noticed that if you are very overindulgent when it comes to food, you're usually overindulgent when it comes to money. It's crazy how the correlation works, but once you know that, you have to go in. There's an app called Mint, and you put in all of your accounts, and you have to be extremely honest with yourself too if you really want to change, right? So if you download the Mint app and put in all of your accounts, checking, savings, if you have Starbucks app, all those things, it tracks all of your expenses, right? And it'll tell you where you're over in, and it'll start creating you a basic budget for those things, right? And I know when I first downloaded that Mint app, I didn't put my Starbucks in there, right? Because I didn't want the app to know.
You're trying to hide from the app.
you, so it takes honesty. It takes
Yes,
honesty, right?
yes, transparency.
But if
Yes.
you really want to start with, getting that change going, you have to see it has to be transparent with your finances, right? And that way you know where to tweak it and where to reduce, and what can you live without. And honestly, we can live without the cable. We can live, and there's alternatives, right? There's alternatives to those cable things. So it's like, I would suggest talking with someone. I'm available. So, if you want to talk offline, we could definitely do that just to get you started somewhere. You can definitely read the book. That's a good starting. Like I said, I did like the research. So what I did was I told a story about my life, and then I said, I wish I would have known this. And I kind of laid it out in that way. So it's a quick read, easy read. But yeah, that'll definitely get you started.
Wow. We're going to invite everybody back on the show at this time so they can ask questions and tell us what they thought about the show tonight. All right. Beverly Renford, what were your thoughts? And did you have a word for Tenishia?
First of all, I appreciate being on this program tonight. Everyone has been phenomenal in its own way and in its own lane. And this is very good. This book, I researched it, and it's something that a person could give for Christmas for their grandchildren or young children, or when they have sleepovers. You would have a book. When my children were growing up able to read, I had them to read to me instead of me constantly. And these books are able, have the ability for the child to read it to a group, and this will start their abilities to present and all of that, because we have to invest in our young people no matter whatever age they are, and the safe place is among people that they know. I really enjoyed Jason's poem. I had written down some words that he said, something about our slippery slope, some words I said that is, out there. He was talking about when we fall into something, and then we get uh, God to forgive us. It wasn't something that we planned to do, but we find out that we slipped. It wasn't on purpose. It was two words, and I don't see it because I'm constantly writing notes
All
over
right.
here.
Uh-huh.
But it was really good. I'm really enjoying this, and this is just real. It's just real. I never like to click into something that's way out there and you wonder what they're talking about. You need money and finances. Uh, Ever since Adam and Eve, children have been born. Children need things that's on different levels and something that they can grow with. And you talked about the single parent home, and oftentimes our minds go to a female, but there are many single parent male homes, and these books are safe for your children and a father to read to his children, and the things that he does not know when he's reading these books, it's informing him also and bringing him closer. So I really am enjoying this program, as I always do. And our presenter is very informative and seems to have the patience of Job. Whatever question, and you can tell that she's answering from a thought process, not just off the top of her head to pass somebody by. And so I love the Lord more than I'll ever know. I can't put it into words, but I just imagine more than the tea in China.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And the book is also, it creates creativity for the young mind because of the colors, the vibrant colors. So thank you, Tenishia, for that. All right. So, Amanda, are you ready with your quotes, dear?
Yes, yes. And thank you for your patience. We had some technical difficulties tonight, but that's okay because God is bigger than our technical difficulties.
Bigger than that.
Yes. So the quotes for this evening, the first one is, thankfully, what God does is always bigger than our ability to contain it. And that is by Craig D. Lounsborough. And the next one is, God is bigger than our pain and sorrows. He's bigger than our guilt. He's able to take anything we give him and turn it around for good. And that is by Tracy Peterson. And finally, God is so much bigger than our what ifs that he can turn them into why not. And that is by the author Gary Rohrmeyer.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Victoria, can you share your thoughts for the show tonight?
Wow, yeah. Yes, ma'am. I love this show. I actually did have two questions. So you mentioned your two children. Do you think they understand, like, on the scope, how, like, the fact that they literally have books written about them, like, already out there? Do you think they understand how cool that is and
So
stuff
my
like that?
6-year-old, this is the second. He has 2 books that are about him, right? And like I said earlier, he's the entertainer of the family. He's very charismatic. So he's already put me to work on a third one about him, not about anybody else, but he wants it about him. So he definitely understands that about how big it is to have a book about himself, and he's been able to take it to his school and read it to his class and his teacher,
That's
in
good.
kindergarten and in first grade. So in my daughter, so like I said, I wrote that book about her in 2015, right? So she would have been, let's see, that's 7 years ago. She would have been 8 years old. So initially she was, very excited, but by the time it became live, she's like, I don't look like that anymore. But she does understand it, and she's definitely proud of being able to be seen in that way. And she still is a huge fan of science and superheroes. Batman's her favorite. So it's like, it still fits her narrative. It's just when she was younger. So I would definitely have to write her a new book.
Yeah, that's cool. My second question was, when you talked about being 16 years older than your sister, you talk about being a middle parent. Well, I'll keep on because it's kind of a long question. You spoke about being a middle parent or the extra parent, and I know that a lot of siblings deal with that. Oh, the third parent. Yeah, third parent. Thank you. A lot of siblings deal with that, and they actually carry resentment towards their siblings or resentment over their childhood. They feel as though there's things that they missed out on because they feel as though they had to take on what their parents should have and what was not owed to them. So even if you can write it in the chat, do you think you had a similar experience, or did you have a really good relationship with your sibling where you felt as though it was your right, like you were happy to do that for her and guide her? And yeah, that's my question. I'm not too sure when she'll come back though.
All right. She's all right.
Sorry.
Oh, she's back.
I heard your question though. It actually is the other way around. So because I grew up as an only child, like I was very ecstatic about having a sibling in the home, but I was almost out of the house, right? And so because I had already kind of established my life, her father, which was my stepfather, he made it a point to say, well, Tenishia used to do this or Tenishia did that, and that created that type of resentment where I can't live my life, which is what my sister felt. I can't live my own life because you're always comparing me to my sister, right? And so I came into the situation where I had moved away to go to college at about 18. And when I came back into her life, she's like, well, who do you think you are? Because she's had to live in a household to be compared to my accomplishments and what I had did. And so we just started getting like a very good relationship outside of that type of resentment. But for me, like I always wanted a sibling in the house. So, like I wanted, that little sister type of relationship. So, it was kind of tough to kind of be like feel that from her. But
Yeah.
like I said, it was not, it didn't have anything to do with us. It had everything to do with what he was doing to her when I wasn't around, right? As far as like comparing the two and creating that type of rivalry that I didn't even know about.
Right.
So it's like I said, now that she's older and kind of understands, like you said earlier, we do need to know our parents' backstory, but we need to know that we're all human, right? So
Right.
yeah, us being able to talk one-on-one and talk as adults now has been so healing for our relationship. And like I said, putting her on these projects and these books and being able to bring her with me has been just a blessing to our relationship. And, this weekend we'll be doing events together as author and illustrator. And like I said, our relationship is just growing. So I'm thankful that we were able to mend that. But yeah, it was hard for her growing up, being able, having to be in my shadow in a sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that. That's cool. I almost see like a theme going on where the theme going on as you speak is really pointing towards get to know your parents and their thought process.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna take out all the unnecessary burdens that comes with parenthood and siblingship.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see how just one misunderstanding between a parent can kind of jack up a sibling, like a sibling relationship, or even vice versa.
It did. It is so true. And I would absolutely recommend getting to know your parents' backstory, even if they're no longer here. Because there's family members that knew a version that you never knew. So just knowing, that backstory can help heal hurt that you never even knew was there. So yeah, I definitely recommend getting to know who your parents were, who your siblings were, who, your grandparents were, because you don't know what generational curses were carried over unless you know that backstory, and what work you need to do in this life. So yeah, I definitely recommend that.
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody, for the show tonight. We're going to end the show by reading the chorus to these lyrics. It says, he's bigger than all my problems, bigger than all my fears. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. Oh, yes. He's bigger than all my questions. Hasha. He's bigger than anything. God is bigger than any mountain that I can or cannot see. How big is God? How big will you allow him to be? That's what I want to say. How big is God? He's bigger than your imagination. He's enormous. He's huge. But will you give him space? Will you give him room in your life to show you individually how big he is? God is big. Oh my gosh. You have a fantastic night. I am ecstatic to be alive. And I pray to God that you are as well. Good night, everybody. Good night. Love you. May God bless you.